Hello, I'm Krista Jarrard with the Center for Systemic Healing at Life's Evolutionary Edge. And if you follow my work as systemic family constellator and third generation astrologer, you may be aware that I've been speaking about this time that we're in, this time that I'm working with as a threshold. And threshold as defined as the magnitude or intensity that must be exceeded for a certain reaction, phenomena, or condition to occur and be manifested. And remembering a threshold is a line which separates two territories of spirit, and how we move through, how we cross is really the key. So we are deep in Aquarius season, one like no other. It's been a remarkable start for the year with Pluto moving into Aquarius, just as the sun entered Aquarius, followed by Aquarius ruler Uranus going direct. And now we have a powerful new moon in Aquarius, which ramps up this already electrifying Uranian energy. And this new moon, this super new moon, is squaring Uranus and is also ushering in the Chinese New Year of the Dragon, connecting us to the solar eclipse, the US solar eclipse coming up in April, which connects us to the solar eclipse we had in October of 2023, which makes an X across the United States. So to say this new moon is a potent time to set an intention is an understatement. And I suggest if you're a person that does that, really to use a lot of discernment, remembering that we are really in new territory here. So we really want to keep our mind open. And in fact, discernment is my word of the year. With so much coming in, it really is about how do we reel this energy in, integrate it, and get real with it. So that's just a little bit of what I'm going to share with you here today. It's not the usual astrology, but for me, it's astrology I would want to hear, because it's how can I be in my body? How can I move in my life, in my relationships, in my work, in my heart's desire, the best to my ability. So, I understand that people are thrilled with the excitement of it all. And I also know that very few people really enjoy having their world turned upside down. So if you're sensitive to this energy, you have been feeling wave after wave after wave. And Aquarius Uranus is all about energy. It rules electricity, the vibration of the body, which can relate to trauma. So it is our circuitry. And each wave builds in potency, requiring serious grounding and integrative anchoring practices for us empathic folks, and ideally for everyone. And because we're at the last degrees of Neptune's long stay in Pisces, we are all in a heightened sense of sensitivity. We're all in a heightened state of sensitivity. So one thing that I am seeing is, because I'm watching, I'm a sensitive person, so I'm watching this, and I'm seeing many practitioner in the healing arts, alternative healing arts, really kind of hitting a wall energetically and having to take a sabbatical and just really go deep within and readjust how they're working. And also, developing sudden symptoms that are challenging to understand. And my clients having a hard time just to certainly to stay centered, but just breathing and staying grounded and healthy. in the center, not at the extremes. So, we can respect the magnitude of this time by giving extra care to our bodies, our hearts, literally our hearts, and our nervous system to avoid circuit overload. Because there's a lot of extreme energy, and that is a signature of Uranus, Aquarius as well, the extremes. And here we have it bringing in the year of the dragon. And, we can look at that because when we look at, if you do Chinese astrology, I'm not the authority on that, but you can see that there's a pretty extreme difference between the Chinese mythology of, the Eastern mythology of the dragon and the Western. That in the East, it's a benevolent, it brings ease and good fortune and honor. And here in the West, it is a fire-breathing dragon destroyer. So somewhere between the two lies that middle ground. And one thing I know from constellation work is that middle ground is always where the solutions lie. The alchemical wisdom of polarities revealed that there's a unity amongst duality. And we know that. So anyone that has experienced constellation work may not be aware of that particularly because there's lots going on. But really, the truth is, constellation work is inclusion work. And so I'm always allowing space for whatever is present. Number one, you allow space for what's present. And you give that its place in the circle. And because of these relational dynamics, because it's, those oppositional forces, it gives rise to all forms of creative energy. So just even the year of the dragon this year is stirring, stirring the collective unconscious, those dynamics in motion, and as is everything else. Everything that I just mentioned is really about bringing that to light and allowing us to discern where we land. Where do we fit in this time? And so that's my 23 years with constellation work, connecting to the energies that are present right now. And so that perspective, from the perspective from our ancestors behind us and our descendants, 50 years out in the future, they see, I've had this experience, they see that we are the leading edge of consciousness in our family lineage, on the brink, right now, on the brink of a threshold to a new paradigm emerging. And this is true for no matter what age we are. So wherever we are, whatever age, if we're a young person, if we're in our last years, we're all doing our part. And the more consciously we can participate with it, the better. But what I'm seeing right now is our physical really has to come on board. And that's what's going to be really challenging, because this needs to be embodied. This is not an abstract idea. And as you can imagine, we're in the body, so it needs to be embodied. And they would also see whether they're standing behind us or looking, back towards us. They would see there's nothing like this in our history. That we're here for quite an extraordinary experience. And through the constellation work, I've seen that we are surrounded with this coming from both sides towards us. We're surrounded by great compassion and gratitude for making a profound embodied shift in consciousness that makes the way for a new future. So we keep it simple. We breathe, we feel ourselves on the ground, connected deep in earth, keep our hearts open, and really work with staying human. Because our experience doesn't have to be hard, but it does have to be real. And time is of the essence. So I thank you for listening, and I invite you to join me in the sacred circle of the constellation or a Movements of Soul astrology session as we move forward together. So thank you, and take good care.